Hey everyone, it's Heath West here at our second Treasure Coast Songwriters Festival with me, Frank Myers. It's your first year here. Thanks for coming this year.
Man, thanks for having me. It's been a blast. I wish the weather would have been a little bit better, but we've had great crowds out here for the second year, and we just got to tell everybody, spread the word, because we're coming back, and we're going to make this thing bigger and better next year. Hopefully, maybe we can double it next year.
I'd love to do that, and I'd love to have you here for next year as well.
I'll be here. You got me.
If you bring some sunshine, I'll officially invite you right now.
Bring some sunshine from Tennessee, right?
Yes. Well, let's talk about Tennessee, because that's not where you grew up. You grew up in Ohio, right?
I did, yeah.
But you had a country music. You grew up around country music. I know at a young age you were in competitions and on TV shows, right?
Yeah. The whole family was musical. My dad had 11 brothers and sisters. My grandma played five-string banjo, kind of like Grandpa Jones style. And,
yeah.
So she actually taught my dad how to play guitar and would tune his guitar when he was little, and he started playing fiddle, and then the other family members started playing, and I mean we were all played, and we had a lot of living room jam sessions, growing up and that kind of thing. So I started playing when I was 9, and played out professionally when I was 11.
Wow, and he's 32 now.
Yeah.
But you got to Nashville at, what, 19, 20, somewhere around in there? Or?
Somewhere around there.
Yeah, and then, we won't say which. But yeah, you got to town, and you were a guitar player, and you hooked up with Eddie Raven.
I was so blessed to move to Nashville in 81, in April of 81, and I started playing guitar with Eddie in July of 81. And I didn't move to town as a songwriter. I moved to town as a guitar player and singer, although I had put some melodies and recorded some music. For my sister wrote some lyrics, and I had another music voice instructor that wrote lyrics, and they asked me to put music to it, and that's all I had done when I'd moved to Nashville, because I really wasn't thinking about being a songwriter, and so I played some of these songs for Eddie, and he liked the melodies, and next thing I know, we were writing, and things started taking off.
You got to Nashville right around the urban cowboy boom, didn't you?
Well, it was afterwards.
The boom, yeah. Okay.
I think that was like 79.
79, 80,
yeah.
And then you got there in 81 or so.
Yeah.
Okay. So country music actually was not as healthy as it is now in that time, but you had some of the healthiest songs out there with Eddie Rabbitt, Crystal Gayle, you and I, a ton of Eddie Raven hits. His very first #1 song, I Got Mexico.
Yeah, first one.
You have that to your credit.
Yeah. It's like I said, I've had a blessed career. I'm so thankful for everything, and thankful to all the folks that have bought my music over the years and request the songs and all that kind of thing. I mean,
It's incredible to think about. You've had hits in the 80s, you've had hits in the 90s, you've had hits in the 2000s. It just keeps on going for you. That's a sign of someone who knows what they're doing, but also is one of Nashville's good guys, because I was just listening to a conversation with one of the other songwriters who was just praising you, going, you were so kind to me when we first met, et cetera, years ago, and I know that makes you feel good, but it also makes us know that you are indeed one of the good guys.
Well, you got to pay it forward. There were people that were good to me, when I came to town, and there's no reason not to be good to the young people when they're coming up, because, things don't last forever, and those young people are going to come. They're going to have their day in the sun, and you got to support them and help them and try to guide them, and hopefully they'll listen to you.
You speak from a little bit of experience. Before you go, I do want to talk about John Michael Montgomery and I Swear, only because you've told the story on stage this weekend that it took 6 years to get it recorded.
It was, we demoed it, 2 demos, and we pitched it for 5 or 6 years.
Wow. So we're talking the 80s, the late 80s is when this, and Gary.
We wrote the song, I guess, in 86.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's insane to think something that is, because it was a huge country hit. Yeah. It's a huge pop hit with All For One, which I was looking at that, and it was like #1 in Canada, #1 in Belgium, #1 in Australia.
Around the world. It was
#6 in Finland. I don't know what their problem is, but it was #6 amongst the Finnish. But the fact that it was just sitting there and people were passing on it, that's insane how it's always about right place, right time.
Oh, yeah, that happens every day. There's great songs, Writers have great songs sitting on the shelf that no one will ever hear.
Right.
It's sad, but it's true. And then, God has a plan for all of us, and the things that are meant to be will be, and the things that aren't won't. And, you just got to put everything in His hands, let Him control it, because we all want to control everything. I'm a control freak, but we can't, and we just got to roll with it and let it happen the way it happens. And like I said, I moved to town in April of '81 and had my first song cut in November of '81.
Doesn't happen that way.
Every
time.
There's so many guys that move there, and then they got to try to play the Bluebird and this other club and this club, and I never had to do that because I was fortunate enough to get a job playing guitar with Eddie Raven, who was a great songwriter, and just kind of took me in, and things just kind of developed and happened, and that was God's plan for me. So.
Right.
And He has a plan for all of us.
Well, I know you got some fans waiting to meet you out there, so thank you for taking the time to sit here and talk to us.
Heath, it was great meeting you in person, and coming to this Songwriter Festival was awesome, and I look forward to coming next year.
Awesome.
And don't forget the records that you want me to sign.
I know. I wanted to autograph my copy of I Got Mexico, and I got home so late and got up so early I forgot it.
It happens. That's okay. I thought I lost my phone today, too, so all good.